Let us now proceed to the last topic, which is the value-added tax. So I hope you're familiar with VAT because you've been paying VAT um, through your purchases. If you have gone into a mall, no, buy, for example, sa grocery, so take note, 'di ba, doon sa resibo nyo may makita kayong VAT. So, ano ba yung VAT? VAT is value-added tax, no? It's an amount paid added to the price of the goods or service. So, VAT actually kasi is an example of an indirect tax. So, ibig sabihin, itong klase ng tax na to, it can be shifted, no, from one taxpayer to another. Like, for example, in the case of VAT, diba, yung VAT ay shouldered ng final na consumer. So, kaya, pag bibili tayo, for example, sa supermarket, no, so, dun sa resibo natin, makikita natin na dapat pala ito lang yung nabayaran ko, but then since merong VAT, so, may nadagdag. So, mas malaki yung babayaran. So, the rate of the VAT is 12%. And if that tax, no, kapag siya ay related sa purchases of goods and services, ang tawag sa kanya ay input tax. Pag no, input tax siya. Now, if the tax naman is related to sales transaction, it is considered siya as in output tax. No? So, ang tawag sa kanya ay output tax. So, the difference between the input tax and the output tax depends on depends on which has the higher amount. So, for example, if the output tax is higher than the output tax is higher, then the difference is called tax payable or VAT payable. But if the input tax is higher, then the difference will be termed as prepaid taxes, no? So, I'm going to show you, or I'm going to use the Excel, no, in presenting this entries in relation to VAT. So, we have here, no, itong mga transactions na to are taken lang doon sa SIM din. Okay? So, ganito kasi class, no, pag ni-register mo yung business mo sa BIR, dalawa lang yung classification yan. It could be, you could be classified as a non-VAT registered na taxpayer or a VAT registered taxpayer. So, kung non-VAT ka, meaning you're not obliged to remit VAT, then hindi ka rin dapat of course magpatong ng VAT. No, hindi ka pwede makaklaim ng input taxes. So, yung babayaran mo, no, sa BIR is, aside sa income tax, ang babayaran mo ay yung tinatawag nating percentage tax. So, para sa mga non-VAT na taxpayers or businesses. Okay? So, here, what we are going to discuss is, let us try to compare. Paano ba gumawa ng entry kapag non-VAT registered or kapag VAT registered ang isang taxpayer? So, I have here an example, no? Cash sale, for example. So, the company sold merchandise to the customer worth 98,000 for cash. So, with that, magde-debit lang tayo ng cash. For example, the amount is 98,000. Okay? And then, we just, diba, this is a sales or cash sales. So, you simply credit sales at 98,000 din. Okay? So, that is kapag non-VAT. Na ito na rin yung ginawa natin kanina, no, doon sa discussion ng entries. Now, if VAT registered siya, so iba yung ating account, itong entries na. So, magde-debit tayo ng cash. Cash is how much? 98,000. So, let us assume that the 98,000 here is already inclusive of VAT. So, ibig sabihin, na the 98,000, appeal na din tong 12% na VAT. Okay, so how do we compute for that, no? Before we proceed to the computation, so take note class, VAT registered ito, tapos sales, yung anak ng sales account would be your output tax. So pag meron tayong sales, automatic, no, meron tayong i-report as output tax din. Okay, so going back, paano ba i-compute itong output tax na to? So, since, no, again, the assumption is this 98,000 is already inclusive of VAT. So, appeal na dira ang VAT. So, how do we compute, no, the VAT? So, we simply divide, no? So, if, parang ganito lang, no? If, ang ating VAT ay 12%, for example, na VAT natin ay 12% man. So, paano ba yan, no? So, to compute for your VAT, you just simply divide, no, your 98,000 by 112%. So, you will simply divide, no, our amount, the amount which is inclusive of VAT, by 1.12, or that's 112%. Then after that, now you get the base amount actually. Then after that, you multiply it by 12%. So your output tax is 10,500. So ibig sabihin, magkano na yung sales na report. So only 87,500 is reported as your sales. So 10,500 ay considered as VAT or output tax. So the next transaction will be sales and account naman. So this time the company sold merchandise to the customer worth 56,000 on account. So if there is a non-VAT registered taxpayer, so your entry would be simply a debit to accounts receivable and credit sales, no? But if it is a VAT registered taxpayer, then your entry will be like this. So you debit accounts receivable at 56,000, credit sales 50,000, and credit output tax at 6,000. So the same lang, no, for us to compute, no, the output tax. So we simply divide your accounts receivable, no, the 56,000, kasi again this is inclusive of VAT. So usually yung mga nasa resibo natin is reflected as included na yung VAT natin. So what we're going to do is to just extract, no, the portion applicable to your output tax. So here, no, your 56,000 will be divided by 112% or 1.12. Then we multiply it by 12%. So your output tax is 6,000. So ibig sabihin, yung i-record lang natin as sales would be 50,000. So that's for mga sales, no? So take note, pag sales, ang related VAT would be output tax, whose balance or whose account now has a credit na normal balance. So let us proceed to the purchases. So for the purchases, we have here the company purchased merchandise from supplier worth 63,000 for cash. So dito, no, under the VAT registered or non-VAT registered na taxpayer, assuming that ang gamit niya ay periodic inventory system, so ito yung ating entry, magde-debit tayo ng purchases and magke-credit tayo ng cash na 63,000, no? So pag VAT registered naman siya, So what you're going to do is you debit your purchases, you debit your input tax, and you credit your cash. So cash is 63,000 credit. So again, that 63,000 is composed of your VAT and the amount really of the purchases. So what you're going to do to get first the input tax, so that is your 63,000 divide 112% or 1.12 times 12% or 0.12. So this is your input tax. So ibig sabihin yung purchases lang natin ay 56,250. Next would be the purchases on account. So the amount is 35,000. So again, following the periodic inventory system, we are going to debit purchases and credit accounts payable kapag non-VAT registered. Pag VAT registered naman, so ito yung entry natin, debit tayo ng purchases, ang anak niya input tax, and then credit tayo ng accounts payable since on account naman ito. So yung 35,000 natin accounts payable, yun yung base amount natin para makuha natin ang ating input tax or VAT. So that 35,000 is composed of the VAT and the purchases itself. So what we're going to do is to simply segregate. So for us to compute the input tax, so ganun din, yung 35,000 natin, i-divide natin by 1.12 times yung 12% or 0.12 mo. So if this is your input tax, so you simply deduct 3,750 from 35,000 to get your purchases. Then lastly, in relation to a VAT registered taxpayer, there is a need for us to close your input tax and your output taxes. So when of course we know that pag sinabi natin i-close, dapat mazi-zero out sila. So this is not applicable for non-VAT registered kasi wala namang i-establish na VAT payable. So applicable lang dito sa VAT registered. So if we're going to compute your total output tax is 16,500 using the information in this particular problem. So yung total output tax niya ay 16,500, whereas yung total input tax niya ay 10,500. So if you get the difference, so that's 6,000. 6,000 is your VAT payable, considering that your output tax is greater than your input tax. So this is a VAT payable, So if we have this amount already, now we can have our entries. So again, the output tax has a credit normal balance. So if you want to close it, so you simply debit your output tax, whereas your input tax has a normal balance of debit. So if you want to close it, then you simply credit your input tax, and then you credit VAT payable for 6,000. Okay, so that's it. So that will be all the discussion. So again, firstly, we discuss about the the discounts, so specifically trade discounts and cash discounts. So second, yung related sa transportation cost. Tapos, yung ating mga inventory system, specifically periodic inventory system and perpetual inventory system. And then lastly, etong VAT, so related sa value added tax. So I hope you learned something from this video, and then if you have questions, so feel free to ask it during our live session or our Zoom session. So that will be all. Thank you for listening, class. Bye.